Bainimarama of Fiji to make his remarks. I also thank Prime Minister Bainimarama for facilitating the first summit of PIPIC in Suva last November.
Thank you, Your Excellency. The Honorable Prime Minister of India, Prime Minister Modi, Honorable Heads of State, and my fellow government leaders from the Pacific, Honorable Ministers, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, Bula Vinaka, Namaste, and a very good evening to you all. Your Excellency, it's a great privilege as Pacific leaders to gather in this historic city for such a high-level engagement with the Government of India. And may I begin by conveying to you all the warmest greetings of the Fijian government and the Fijian people. All around us in Jaipur are reminders of India's glorious past and the contribution it has made to the development of human civilization. But tonight, we look to the future and the role India is destined to play in forging a better world for all mankind, and especially the role it can play in the Pacific to improve the lives of all our people. Prime Minister Modi, sir, you have the greatest honor to lead the world's biggest democracy and a major power on the global stage. We in the Pacific look to India to take a greater lead in resolving the great challenges of our time. And which is why Your Excellency, Fiji is strongly supporting India's bid to become a permanent member of the United Nations Security Council. For our part, we have the great honor to again engage with you face to face to discuss ways in which we can strengthen India's engagement with our region and our people, to explore new avenues of collaboration, to tap India's burgeoning expertise in a wide range of areas, to take our friendship to another level. Mr. Prime Minister of all the island nations, Fiji has the closest ties with India because of the tens of thousands of indentured laborers who went to work in our plantations, mainly sugar, from British India. Every Fijian, no matter who they are or where they come from, values the wonderful assistance that India has provided towards Fiji's development over the years. The hundreds of scholarships for Fijians at Indian institutions to bolster our human resources and capacity buildings, and the support the Indian government has provided to establish our new and genuine democracy of equal votes, of equal value, the first in Fijian history. For this assistance, Your Excellency, we shall always be grateful. Mr. Prime Minister, we had the great privilege of hosting you last November in our capital, Suva, along with my fellow Pacific leaders, during your first visit to our region that we trust will not be your last. Now we come to India for the second forum for India and Pacific Islands Cooperation, and on behalf of my own delegation, thank you for the warm welcome and generous hospitality. It is wonderful to be here in Jaipur and to experience the warmth and energy of the Indian people. Sir, Fiji welcomes and appreciates India's stated intention to play a greater role in the Pacific region, and especially to work with us as smaller nations to enable us to reach our full potential, to share your technology and expertise, to help us develop our resources in a sustainable manner, to work together for our mutual benefit in global forums, to uphold and protect the values we share, the cornerstones of your own nation and ours: democracy, unity, harmony, diversity, and opportunity and justice for all. As part of the global heritage, the Pacific belongs to the world, but it is also our home, and we insist that it be respected. For our people never again to be pawns or victims of disputes between the great powers, to keep the Pacific peaceful and protect our pristine environment for all time, for the ocean that sustains us to have its resources utilized in a sustainable manner, and to remain in a sanctuary for the enjoyment of Pacific peoples and visitors from around the world for generations to come. Mr. Prime Minister, we all have our individual challenges as Pacific small island developing states, but some of these are common to us all. And population growth is placing an unprecedented strain on our island environments, and we need urgent individual and collective action to prevent the unsustainable use of our resources on land and at sea. We must guarantee our food security by embracing world's best practice in agriculture and ensure that our people have continuing access to clean water. We must develop our economies in a responsible manner attract investment, and provide our people with sustainable and satisfying livelihoods. We must educate our people, care for their health, and wean them off the poor lifestyle habits that have made us one of the worst regions in the world for non-communicable diseases. We must secure our borders and work with the international community to fight trafficking in drugs and human beings. And in common with the rest of the developing world, we must fight corruption, develop strong institutions, and embrace the notions of transparency, of accountability, and of good governance that are the hallmark of every successful nation. But Mr. Prime Minister, by far the most pressing issue we face, and the one that requires the most urgent response, is the grave threat posed to us by the rising sea levels and extreme weather events caused by climate change. We are all suffering in the Pacific to a greater or lesser extent. But in the case of three of our nations, Kiribati, Tuvalu, and the Marshall Islands, their very existence is threatened. And unless the industrial nations agree to binding cuts in carbon emissions to arrest the current level of global warming, these nations are destined to sink beneath the waves and disappear off the map altogether. What will happen to their citizens is one of the great challenges the world will face. Fiji has offered permanent sanctuary to the citizens of Kiribati and Tuvalu, our nearest neighbors. But all this presents a range of logistic and legal challenges which the international community needs to address. Mr. Prime Minister, Fiji and its Pacific neighbors intend to lead the charge for drastic cuts in carbon emissions at the World Climate Summit at the end of November. We have precisely 14 weeks to persuade the industrial nations to put our survival before the well-being of their carbon-polluting industries. Sir, we ask India to stand with us as we do so, to side with us rather than with what I have called the coalition of the selfish, those nations who are putting their interests before the interests of those of us who are most vulnerable to climate change, the small island developing states. Just as Fiji is open for business, as we enjoy the longest running period of economic growth in our history, our doors are open to the region and the world, and we offer our services to help empower all Pacific peoples and have their voices heard. I again extend Fiji's hand of friendship to my fellow Pacific Islanders, whether it is by sending you our civilian volunteers, our teachers or nurses, or helping you to build resilience against the extreme weather events that threaten us all. I again extend Fiji's hand of friendship to the world with a pledge to continue our contribution to United Nations peacekeeping missions, to protect the vulnerable and help keep the world a safer place. And I again extend our hand of friendship to India with our warmest thanks for all of you already done to contribute to the development of our nation and our region. And with great anticipation and excitement, and what we can all achieve by working together as partners in the months and years to come. Dan Bad, and thank you, sir.
Thank you, Excellency. I now call upon Premier Talangi of Niue to make his remarks.
Prime Minister, we have for the forum with the Latin tier. For no had two to tuck me the movie the two make a previa. A phone on a Gewakini. He had a tour of 2 young. Thank you for your invitation to India for the second summit, Prime Minister. Historically, Niue and India have had very little contact. However, since we established diplomatic relations, contact and exchanges have increased and will continue to prosper. We value this exchange in partnership and hope that we will work together collaboratively on many important matters, including climate change. We thank you for your funds annually and the climate change funding allocated to us. Niue is aware that the challenge we face on climate change will and are different. Nevertheless, it is our belief that in the long term we must work as partners to help those most vulnerable in the short term, such as Tuvalu and Kiribati, Tokelau, but look to a longer term solution as well. The political strategy must be long term, underpinned by climate science. I propose a similar strategy for the sustainable exploitation of our fisheries and mineral resources and sharing of technologies enhancing our community exchanges and capacity building and investing in strong, enduring economies. There are clear commonalities in many climate change and the resulting disasters that emanate and impact us all. With these high-level exchanges, I hope we can share common solutions and work together strategically to adapt and mitigate our responses. We're not able to do it alone, but together anything is possible. You state that India is a sea of people. At the same time, you recognize us as a sea of opportunity. Prime Minister, let us work together to realize that potential for the Pacific Islands. I wish you and your people the very best, and may we both prosper, grow as countries in years to come.
Thank you, Excellency. I now call upon Prime Minister O'Neill of Papua New Guinea, PNG, to make his remarks.
Thank you, the Honourable Prime Minister Modi of India and fellow leaders of the Pacific. Papua New Guinea and, of course, the Pacific Island partners appreciate this opportunity to attend this very important forum in India. And I thank the Prime Minister and his government and the people of India for that. We have been given the unique opportunity to meet senior business leaders in your country and experience the warmth and the hospitality of the people of India. The visit to the Taj Mahal yesterday was outstanding. We appreciated the opportunity to visit the icon of Indian tourism. This forum will consolidate the relationship between India and our Pacific Island countries. I want to assure you that India is true friends in the Pacific, and we appreciate the interest you have shown in our region. Prime Minister Modi, your outreach to the Pacific Island leaders is the first of its kind by an Indian leader or Indian government. Through this contact, we will foster mutual understanding and appreciation of the challenges that is faced by both Pacific Island countries and the Indian communities. It is our desire that India, as a growing global economic power, will also appreciate the aspirations of the Pacific people and continue to work with our respective governments. I can assure you that India is a welcome partner in the Pacific, and thank you for the support that you continue to provide. There is very much that we both can do together. That is to increase trade and share the development experiences that you have. We admire your vision to shape a new destiny with promises of together with all, development for all. This kindle new hopes and aspirations for your people, and of course, us leaders from the Pacific can learn from these examples and initiatives. Pacific Island nations face many challenges, from climate change, natural disasters, issues of poverty, and of course, improving healthcare and education. But one of our greatest challenges is, of course, the climate change. Climate change also affects India, with thousands of the islands along your coast. And I'm sure that between Asia and the Pacific, we must have a collective voice. We must seek global action to deal with this impact of climate change that is changing our communities while we continue to work on reversing the issue of climate change into the future. Our region can also learn from India in how to deal with disaster management. We have been experiencing devastating tropical storms, floods this year around the Pacific, and now we are facing hardship of a strong El Nino weather pattern. Therefore, disaster management is an important issue for us to discuss between our island leaders in Port Moresby next month when we meet the Pacific Island Forum Leaders Meeting. Papua New Guinea supports the initiatives that have been proposed by India in order for us to manage the region and the national disasters that we face. India is also a global leader in the delivery of effective and affordable healthcare. Again, in the Pacific, we suffer from lack of trained medical staff, and our people continue to die from conditions that could have been cured. We would like to learn from your experience as a developing nation with 1.25 billion people that you are looking after. It is important that we see more of our young Pacific doctors and nurses come to India for training. It is also important for our older doctors and medical staff to come to India to improve in their skills. There is a very open market for drugs in the Pacific, and our people cannot afford expensive drugs, and that is why India can meet that market for us. We again seek your support and guidance in access to those very important life-saving medicines. The delivery of effective education is another area, which is a challenge for many of our communities that is spread across the vast Pacific Ocean. We would like to see an increased use of technical innovations that India has already developed in delivering education through our communities throughout the Pacific, particularly through online programs. We are very interested in having more teachers and more teachers of ours attending training in India so that they can broaden their experience and skills. India, of course, is leading the region with the regional integrated multi-hazard early warning system. We in the Pacific embrace that, and we thank the government of India for supporting our proposal to Austin Rhymes regional base in the Pacific region. India, again, is a world leader in the development of cutting-edge technology that can be applied to many of our sectors in the Pacific. We are pleased that the Indian government is prepared to sharing this knowledge and experience with us in the Pacific. The initiative that is put forward as Pan-Pacific Project that has been modeled similar to that Pan-African E-Network project is very much welcomed by the Pacific Island countries. Given our vast distances between our island countries and of course our current poor connectivity, this initiative is a welcome initiative. This will improve connectivity and coordination, improve services like tele-education and telemedicine that can reach remote communities throughout the Pacific. We can also be able to better connect through telephone calls, access to weather services, and better manage through e-governance and e-commerce. And this is an excellent initiative for the Pacific region. Mr. Prime Minister, we also have seen Indian government campaign Make in India and the impact that is having on the Indian economy. This has been complemented by the Indian government's signature initiative such as Digital India and Skill India. These are programs that are creating jobs for Indians, that is attracting capital for Indian business and economy. We also in the Pacific would like to learn from these experiences so that collectively we can make Made in Pacific a brand that is sellable globally. Once again, with those few remarks, thank you for your hospitality and thank you for seeing us.
Thank you, Excellency. I now call upon Prime Minister Tuilaipa Sailele of Samoa to make his remarks.
Honorable Prime Minister Modi and distinguished members of the Government of India, honorable Pacific leaders, I would like to express my delegation's deep gratitude to you, Prime Minister, and your government for the very generous and thoughtful arrangements that enable our participation and for the wonderful hospitality extended to us. Let me say at the outset that I appreciate very much the second summit for Indo-Pacific Islands cooperation you committed to at our first meeting last year in Suva. I certainly support your sentiments of the similar aspirations and common challenges both India and the Pacific Islands face, and the importance of this opportunity to further define the roadmap for deepening our cooperation and international partnerships. At the end of just this past July, I was privileged to speak at the United Nations Security Council open debate on the peace and security challenges facing small island developing states, the threats to our countries that include the spread of firearms, drugs, people smuggling, illegal and dangerous use of information technology, and IUU fishing, to name some, were all highlighted and requiring international partnership cooperation to successfully address. Climate change and its impacts, as expected, occupy the major part of the debate. The comments from my fellow Pacific leaders at the debate, including from the Premier of Niue and the most poignant reminder from the President of Kiribati of the existential threat to the very survival of his country due to climate change, left no doubt of the security threat climate change represents for our Pacific countries. In my own remarks, I refer to the third UN International Conference for Small Islands Developing States that Samoa was honored to host on behalf of the Pacific in September last year, and in particular, the collective voice of the conference in its outcome statement, the Samoa Pathway, calling for comprehensive and effective global responses to combat the threat of climate change and address its impacts. I also emphasized the important work of the Pacific Islands Forum, including its Majuro Forum Climate Leadership Declaration 2 years ago, urging all countries to act ambitiously and responsibly to stop climate change. At a very important level, the contributions from all the Security Council members, the Permanent Five included, indicated clearly wider acceptance that climate change is indeed a very real security issue for our island countries. To underscore the importance of the threat of climate change to the Pacific, we are doing everything possible individually through the institution of our Pacific Islands Forum within our various sub-regional groupings and regional organizations, as well as in the United Nations and other intergovernmental bodies, such as the Commonwealth, to reinforce the message of our fervent hope for a comprehensive and enforceable new climate change agreement to be reached at the upcoming COP21 in Paris at the end of the year. For Samoa, we most certainly look to working with India in the lead up to COP21 and beyond on mitigation and adaptation measures to curb climate change and alleviate its adverse impacts to security and development. If I may now turn to economic partnerships, I had referred last year during the summit meeting in Suva to the range of areas which we considered held potential for effective partnerships between India and Samoa. An important advantage of the timing of today's second summit is that it provided sufficient time for us to re-evaluate where Samoa should put emphasis for the deployment of the assistance India is making available, and to be able in a relatively short time to inform directly your government leadership of the priorities through this second summit. Speaking specifically for Samoa, I would like to inform that given the resources made available from India, we have now reprioritized our own target area for engagement with India. We therefore request the sympathetic consideration of the government of India to focus its assistance to Samoa on our health sector, and in particular to provide opportunities for our medical doctors to obtain postgraduate work experience in your hospitals. The complementary and other key components of this program that we would further request is for Indian medical doctors and your instructors to periodically work and take sabbaticals in my country to additional support our capacity building. It is our respective view that such a program for doctors training, our doctors training in India, with Indian medical doctors and trainers coming periodically to our country to support capacity building will make the most impact in our country of India's assistance at this point in time. I would imagine that a program should also yield benefits for deepening India's medical knowledge of small islands' medical challenges and help instruct the devising of practical and sustainable solutions. We look forward to working with India in this priority area of health services improvement for our country. To end my remarks, I recall, Prime Minister, that at our Suva meeting last year, you had also very eloquently informed us of the health benefits of yoga, which I have already tried more on the gentler forms. And I would like to thank you for your initiative at the United Nations, which Samoa supported for an International Yoga Day on 21st of June. The 21st of June this year, however, fell on a Sunday, the day of religious worship in my country. Our government therefore could not very well carry out any activity to mark Yoga Day on our Sunday without attracting accusations that we were introducing a new religion to our country. So instead, with the understanding of your High Commissioner accredited to Samoa in Wellington, we marked Yoga Day this year ahead of everyone else on Saturday, 20th of June. I had since checked next year's calendar and was happy and relieved that 21 June is a Tuesday. In closing, and on a more serious note, Prime Minister, I wish to inform that we are taking steps to raise Samoa's diplomatic representation profile with India and will be seeking the agreement of your government very soon to enable our country to accredit ambassadorial rank representation to India. Thank you again, Prime Minister, for the generous arrangements to meet with you here in your great and amazing country. Please accept my congratulations on your determined work to unlock India's full potential, and I wish you every success in the leadership of your country. Thank you.
Thank you, Excellency. I now call upon Prime Minister Sopoaga of Tuvalu to make his remarks.
Your Excellency, Prime Minister Modi, Excellency, Honourable Ministers of the Government of India and senior officials of the government, friends, it is indeed a pleasant honour to attend the second Forum of India and the Pacific Island countries here in this very historic city. I thank you, Prime Minister, for your leadership and also your courtesy to dialogue with us coming from very small island developing states of the Pacific region, particularly to dialogue with you who is leading a democracy of 1.5 1 billion citizens compared to, say, for example, the 12,000 people of Tuvalu. But as your honorable ministers have been saying, it is the values and the true principles of friendships that we have shared over the years that really matter. And that's why I'm so ever grateful to be here in the second summit of the FIPIC. Excellency, we also are very grateful for the hospitality of the people of India. We are deeply touched by the friendship. We're grateful also for the many ways that India has helped Tuvalu in the areas of human development, health, and education, as well as in capacity building for our people. And we look forward to further deepening those bilateral cooperations in areas of mutual concerns and interest to our great countries. Prime Minister, we on our part are here particularly to say and reaffirm our trust and respect in the FIPIC as a partnership, an important vessel to further deepen and manifest the values and principles of democracy, of partnership, of cooperation that we all share. We believe the FIPIC is timely to further complement the bilateral and multilateral cooperations that we and India have enjoyed over the many years. The underlying challenges of poverty and sustainability confronting us and the opportunities have all been registered and noted around the table. And of course, the Samoa pathway for the further sustainable development of small island developing states, to which we were partners last year, provides a very powerful signpost or collection of signposts for our partnerships as we move forward. The further deepening of our cooperation in other areas, as have been mentioned during the course of this FIPIC, are crucial as well. But the tide of regional and global diplomacy, Your Excellencies, continues to present us with ever complicating challenges, particularly to small island developing states such as Tuvalu. But we believe diplomacy, with all its complexities and its multiplicities, must allow for everyone, every single member of the global family to rise together. Because not to do so would leave us irresponsible and lead our collective work to nothing less than failure, even corruption. We believe FIPIC is also a vital vehicle to enhancing our diplomatic and international engagements at the global levels on issues of mutual interest and concerns. Tuvalu's voice on our own at the global level is insignificant, but FIPIC can be one amplifier to together punch the lines for global attention and for global actions. And we strongly believe in the leadership of India to help us punch those lines. We agree with the need for major reforms in the United Nations, particularly in the Security Council. And we also fully recognize India's aspirations to play a leading role as a permanent member in the United Nations, in the Security Council, rather. And we support these aspirations. But we also believe the reforms must not only in the form of structure, but must also refocus the attention on issues. And climate change, we believe, is akin to a weapon of mass destruction, is of the same effects to those of HIV/AIDS, even on security issues that are often defined in militaristic terminologies and dimensions. We must look at climate change on the point of view of security from a multidimensional nature, because it is. It is creating havocs and actually threatening the survival and lives of people, particularly those on small island states like my own Tuvalu. And Cyclone Pam recently has just proven that, though hit directly on Vanuatu, and we feel for the devastations on Vanuatu, it also left serious devastations on Tuvalu, out of which some islands and people are still recovering. They don't have food sources on the islands, as these have been inundated and damaged. Therefore, the Reformed Security Council must be sensitive as well and take climate change into its agenda. We also see value in enhancing the work of the Commonwealth as a process that many of the FIPIC family are also members, and out of which human development in these countries have been advanced and developed. And we are so thankful to India for its assistance to facilitate the Commonwealth Joint Office facility in New York and Geneva, without which the voices and representation in the United Nations of many small islands like Tuvalu would never have been possible. That facility is critical to us being there in the United Nations in New York and offering our own contribution. And therefore we hope the forthcoming CHOCOM in Malta, we could count on the leadership of India to ensuring the continuation of that leadership and of that support in the Commonwealth into the future. Mr. Prime Minister, we are encouraged by India's concerns to the impacts of climate change on lives and the urgent need to address its causes and effects. In the spirit of the love of the Taj Mahal that we so impressively witnessed and heard yesterday, we appeal for India's meaningful leadership, similar to that love, to ensuring a legally binding agreement on mitigation for a new energy mix for a greener global economy, mitigation, urgent adaptation actions, and the issue of loss and damage in the Paris Agreement at the end of the year. COP21 will be measured not by the rhetorics, not by the finger pointing, but by the leadership of real men and women for real actions. We all must together make it, or we all perish. Thank you.
Thank you, Excellency. I now call upon Prime Minister Kilman of Vanuatu to make his remarks.
Thank you, Your Excellency Narendra Modi, Prime Minister of India, Honourable Ministers of the Indian Government, Heads of States and Government of foreign island countries, distinguished delegates, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. Before I address you today on the occasion of the second Forum for Indo-Pacific Islands Cooperation in the lovely city of Jaipur in India, let me take this time to convey to His Excellency and the people of India, the government and the people of Vanuatu's sincere condolences for the passing of the First Lady of India a couple of days ago. Our prayers and thoughts are with you. Allow me also to convey my deep appreciation to the government and people of India for their warm hospitality and for the excellent arrangements put in place for this second annual forum. I wish to also at the outset convey warm congratulations on behalf of the government and people of Vanuatu to the government of India under your leadership, Honourable Prime Minister, for your exemplary leadership and commitment on behalf of India to the Pacific region and globally. The first Indo-Pacific Island Summit, having been convened last year in Suva, Fiji, proved to be a very important forum and platform for discussing discussion and harnessing of support and collaboration on international issues of common interest, especially via the promotion of the South-South modality of cooperation, which India is a big promoter of. These issues range from, but are not exclusive, to cooperation on issues relating to global environment and climate change issues, and all the important agenda of the UN reform and freedom of navigation, notwithstanding ongoing collaboration in areas relating to renewable energy, education, health, and sustainable development. Honorable Prime Minister, my delegation came to this second forum for Indo-Pacific Islands cooperation with high hopes, in full cognizance of the yet untapped potential of India-PIC relations, and with the intent on renewing our relations with the Government of India and the Indian people. It would be remiss of me, therefore, not to at this juncture acknowledge the Indian government for ongoing assistance to Vanuatu vis-à-vis India's regional assistance initiatives for Pacific Island countries and annual grant aid for development projects in Vanuatu, especially via the Indian Technical and Economic Cooperation Program. I also take this opportunity to thank you for the discussions held earlier today. I am sure with partnership that has been forged, our relations can go only from strength to strength. Just like most other Pacific Island countries represented here today, Vanuatu is a small, open, and vulnerable economy, susceptible to minimalist of shocks. In early March of this year, Vanuatu was hit by a severe Category 5 tropical cyclone, which ravaged the entire Vanuatu archipelago, destroying critical infrastructure and effectively crippling the country's tourism and agriculture sectors. Whilst the damage was unprecedented, the Vanuatu government and people are grateful for the assistance and support of its development partners. I wish to also place on record the Vanuatu government and people's immense gratitude to the Government of India for their assistance and support during these trying times. In the same manner, I wish to convey the sincere condolences of the government and people of Vanuatu to the government and people of India for the recent deaths, loss and damages sustained during the recent period of heavy monsoon rains, which caused intense flooding and landslides. Our prayers and thoughts go out to those who have lost their loved ones. Honorable Prime Minister, while my mandate here today involves exploring means by which cooperation between India and Vanuatu may be bolstered, especially in responding to global developmental challenges such as those brought on by a changing global climate, I commend your government for taking heed of the call for development partners to support the efforts of SEEDS, specifically in the areas of financing, trade, capacity building, technology, as well as data and statistics. To that end, Vanuatu will continue to work closely with India and other development partners in identifying and enhancing cooperation in areas of mutual interest and in further augmenting the global resolve to address these developmental challenges. Excellency, since my arrival in your country, I have met with business people from various sectors in India who have expressed great interest in connecting with Vanuatu and the region through business venture. Yesterday's evening function again provided an opportunity for us to interact with the Confederation of Indian Industry and the business community at large. The statement by the Honorable Piyush Goyal, when he spoke eloquently about the prospect of developing stronger business and economic ties between India and the countries in the Pacific region, set a tone for enhancing cooperation through private sector initiatives. To this end, I would encourage business entities in India to establish contact with our private sector with a view to explore potential for building effective partnership in trade, tourism, and investment. In closing, Honorable Prime Minister, Vanuatu wishes to once again acknowledge India's role in supporting strong and effective action to address climate change, consistent with the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, especially on the eve of the 21st Conference of the Parties in Paris to be held later this year. In particular also in mobilizing its resources to contribute to the Green Climate Fund and other adaptation and mitigation financing. Excellencies, it is my pleasure therefore to reiterate the cooperation and support of the Vanuatu government for the second forum for Indo-Pacific Islands Cooperation, and wish us all much success in our deliberations here today. Thank you.
Thank you, Excellency. I now call upon Deputy Prime Minister Ete of Solomon Island to make his remarks.
Your Excellency, Honorable Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister of the Republic of India, distinguished Pacific Island leaders and your esteemed delegations, members of the Resident Diplomatic Corps, Honorable Ministers of the Government of India, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. First of all, I wish to convey my Prime Minister's apology for the absence at this prestigious forum meeting in Jaipur. He is committed to other official government engagements and could not attend. On this note, Excellency, Honorable Prime Minister, I bring warm greetings from the government and people of the Happy Isles, the Solomon Islands, to your people in your government. I wish also to register my profound appreciation to the government of India for the warm hospitality accorded to my delegation since arriving at your source, specifically in Delhi, Agra, and Jaipur, that have played host during our visit here. Visiting Taj Mahal yesterday in the Grand Palace of Maharaja Jai Singh, the Amber Fort, is a manifestation of a people whose civilization is so advanced, dating back several thousands of years. Your Excellency, Prime Minister Modi, I wish to express my gratitude for your visit to Fiji, and on that note, may I also wish to thank the Prime Minister of Fiji for the wisdom taken in putting together a regional forum to harness a regional cooperation to which we would be extended the benefits of at this prestigious meeting in 2014, which chart a new dimension towards regional cooperation and engagement with the region. Solomon Islands is truly grateful for this initiative, and I say this in the spirit of a true Solomon Islander. Honorable Prime Minister, if I may say this, you have indeed shown to the SEEDs, to the Pacific Island countries, an example of taking an extraordinary step to meet us at our doorsteps, manifested in the meeting last year. Other than waiting, watching for least developing countries to come looking for you, that on behalf of my government, I appreciate very, very much. For this engagement, Solomon Islands wish to thank you and be assured of our unwavering support for India as a friend at the Indo-Pacific and international forums such as the United Nations. On this note, Mr. Prime Minister, we will support your cause seemingly because India has signed up to the Non-Proliferation Treaty. And for that reason, coupled with that, India is the largest democracy. On top of that, India is a third world country who is way advanced and powerful economic country to which my country, Mr. Prime Minister, could learn from. That Solomon Islands stands ready to build on the bilateral friendship that was first cemented in 1984. We wish to have a close cooperation with your country to turn the page together and seek new solutions collectively to this ever-changing global environment. I believe the FIPIC process will have a positive impact on the lives of Solomon Islanders. Solomon Islands values every aspect of our Indo-Pacific engagement through the PIF process, and that I believe this relationship will be a fruitful one in our endeavor to tackle the many challenges and to strive in achieving the post-2015 development agenda and the sustainable development goals, and to tackle the challenges of healthcare, regional security, economic sustainability, ICT issues, renewable energy, climate change as a global agenda, and that in this regard and in this bilateral arrangement, my country will advance the objective of any government, and that is, one, to feed our citizens. Number two, to make sure that we sleep under a roof, a decent roof. Number three, to access good medicine and to access better education facilities, and that we will, over the course of time, advance the objective of this forum. With that, Prime Minister, I do thank you so very, very much.
Thank you, Excellency. I now call upon Minister Glacy of Cook Island to make his remarks.
Excellency, the Right Honourable Modi, Prime Minister of India, Excellencies, Heads of Governments, distinguished representatives, my Pacific Islands friends and colleagues, kia ora and greetings from the Cook Islands. On behalf of the Prime Minister of the Cook Islands, I'd like to extend sincere best wishes and congratulations to you, Prime Minister, and the Government of India for the kind invitation to participate at the second forum here in India. Indian support and encouragement in strengthening the cooperative ties with the Pacific is warmly welcomed and deeply appreciated. The Cook Islands delegation is particularly grateful for the impressive arrangements and facilitation of this opportunity to be hosted in beautiful Jaipur as friends and partners and to engage in fruitful dialogue. In Suva, Fiji last year, we were heartened by the generosity and the spirit of friendship with which India provided a 10-point plan of assistance to the region. And we look forward to building on those efforts with constructive outcomes from such high-level engagement. The Cook Islands has appreciated the increase in grant fund aid, especially as its funding has a high level of impact on small communities which are able to access help in a very timely and effective manner. Capacity building and upskilling remain important priorities for our country, particularly as a result of the ongoing pressures from depopulation, and opportunities to strengthen our mutual understanding through scholarship training and cultural exchange will continue to be supported. Climate change, of course, at the forthcoming COP21 in Paris at the end of the year is the focal point of regional concern, which we are working very hard to resolve with clarity. The Cook Islands is supportive of working alongside its Pacific colleagues to urge all our larger partners towards a successful outcome, and India does have a key role to play in helping to attain that level of global resilience. The smallest and most vulnerable are the island states. We remain firm on a legally binding outcome, reducing carbon emissions and financial arrangements that are accessible and not onerous to peoples already under stress. The sustainable of our way of life as Pacific Islanders will continue to be a cooperative partnership, and we recognize that India has been a valued contributor to regional programs and efforts. As a global leader in a wide range of fields, India has provided beneficial experience and training to the Cook Islands, including specialist areas of expertise like renewable energy development. The Cook Islands has since announced the achievement of reaching its renewable energy target for 2015. For the past 3 months, 50% of our islands have been powered by solar energy with no diesel fuel shipments being made to our northern region since the end of last year. Renewable energy achievements are freeing up many thousands of dollars and creating immediate results in the reduction of national emissions. While these national efforts may be considered small in terms of numbers, we are reaching heights of significant achievement on a relative scale, on target to become 100%, may I quote, clean and green in the next 5 years. As island nations, we have a responsibility to ensure future generations have the security and comfort of benefiting from our, perhaps narrow but significant natural resources. Our ocean gives us the opportunities to secure that future. And in the case of the Cook Islands, we have a development agenda that is being driven by a philosophy founded on the conservation of our marine ecosystem. The framework of oversight for the harvesting of our resources will be legislated before the end of this year and will be an overarching policy in the management of our fisheries and the exploration of seabed minerals. The Cook Islands has a high level of priority in sustaining these resources, and we will be challenged by the balancing of environmental preservation with utilization. We are particularly interested in the progress made by India as a pioneering investor in ocean resource exploration, and we would be keen to engage in information exchange. Ocean resource exploration and seabed mining is the new frontier of future wealth, especially for a nation as small as ours. The Cook Islands and other Pacific states are pursuing viable options for mining, and there may be considerable advantages in developing stronger links of cooperation. In terms of the Pacific, Papua New Guinea is a recognized player in this field, and the Cook Islands would welcome opportunities to explore and investigate further the scope of working more closely with partners like India, as well as within the region. The Pacific can only be strengthened by working more closely with its partners, especially on the basis of shared interests and mutual respect as equals. The Cook Islands is pleased that our growing ties are not simply the result of India's historic links, but because there is a higher priority for more substantive engagement and a more visible presence by the respected elder in world affairs. Honorable Prime Minister, like Samoa, the Caucus celebrated World Yoga Day in June this year with several men, women, and children, and their first workshop was held on the beautiful beach of Moody in Rarotonga. However, eventually, we continue to uphold our friendship in these endeavors and look forward to a further dialogue. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Excellency. I now call upon Minister Whakahau of Tonga to make his remarks.
Honorable Prime Minister of India, Your Excellency Mr. Narendra Modi, Honorable Heads of Delegations from Pacific Island countries, members of the Diplomatic Corps, Excellencies, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. May I, on behalf of the government and people of the Kingdom of Tonga, extend our utmost appreciation to the Government of India for inviting Pacific Island leaders to attend this auspicious summit. In December last year, we witnessed a historical event when the Honorable Prime Minister of India, His Excellency Mr. Narendra Modi, invited leaders of Pacific Island countries to join him in Fiji for the inauguration of the first summit of the Forum for Indo-Pacific Islands Cooperation. Today, we thank you, Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi, very much for inviting us as leaders of the Pacific Island countries again to gather here in India for further dialogue and to promote cooperation on issues of mutual interest. The second summit is indeed strengthening the Indo-Pacific relations and signifies a step forward in expanding the cooperation between Pacific Island countries and India into identifying new priorities within the 10-point announcement made by Your Excellency Prime Minister in Fiji in December last year. To maximize the combination of India's advantages, namely market, capital, human resources, professional expertise, and technology, with Pacific Island countries' development needs in various sectors like agriculture, fisheries, tourism, health, renewable energy, ICT, and more. The Kingdom of Tonga and India have traditionally enjoyed close and deep diplomatic relations. The Tongan royal household has held keen interest towards India, as reflected in the past state visits by His late Majesty King Taufa'ahau IV and Queen Halaiwalu Mata'aho in 1971 and 1976, respectively, and a private visit by His late Majesty King George V to Paul V in 2009. Tonga was honored to have received high-level delegations from India in the past, including the late Indian Prime Minister Indira Gandhi in year 1981. The cooperation between our two countries has further strengthened with the reopening of the Indian High Commission in Suva, Fiji in 1999. In the international arena, our two governments continue to interact closely at the United Nations, the Commonwealth, and other important international fora. Tonga appreciates India's financial support towards Tonga's assumption last year as chair of the 12-member Pacific Small Island Development States, the SIDS group. Tonga will also support India's re-election to the International Maritime Organization Council at the 29th session of the Assembly of IMO scheduled to be held in London in November of this year. Tonga acknowledges the importance of development assistance provided by India in three main areas. 1, the grant in aid. 2, special grant. And 3, the Indian Technical and Economic Cooperation Program, ITEC, from which Tonga has benefited significantly. A few examples of these are: 1, increasing of India's grant in aid to each Pacific Island country for community projects from $125,000 to $200,000 US annually, as announced in the Fiji summit. 2, the increase of ITEC trainings that offered Tonga 10 slots in year 2014-15, and further increased to 15 slots in year 2015 and 16. 3, the government's foreign ministry staff participated in the diplomatic training program offered, including the special diplomatic training course that was conducted in Nadi, Fiji in May of this year. 4, His Majesty's Armed Forces are continuing to participate fully in the defense training courses offered, as they help develop the capacity of the armed forces in terms of enhancing their personnel's military skills and knowledge. And 5th, Government's Ministry of Health staff participate in public health and medical training courses that are offered in India. Overall, the Government of Tonga is interested in conducting more detailed dialogues and exploring potential cooperation with the Government of India in the following areas. 1, climate change. According to the World Risk Report of year 2014, Tonga has been categorized as the second most exposed after Vanuatu, but third in the most at risk after Philippines in the world to natural disasters. Tonga fully recognizes the impacts and risks of climate change to sustainable development. We are thankful that the setup of the Special Adaptation Fund of $1 million by India, as pledged in the Fiji summit last December, will provide regular technical support, which will ensure safe, healthy, and resilience to impacts of climate change and disaster risks. In the area of agriculture, the agriculture sector in Tonga contributes some 16% to total GDP. Tonga's main export commodities include squash, watermelon, kava, coconut, vanilla, and various root crops. The main challenges faced by the agriculture sector include uncertainties in overseas markets and unreliable shipping schedules. In fact, Tonga has recently submitted a proposal to the Government of India requesting the expert services of a coconut development expert to assist with the preparation of a coconut development strategy for the kingdom. Tonga has also lodged inquiries with the Indian High Commission in Fiji to explore opportunities in India for export of kava. We hope this will open up a market for local Tongan kava growers. The establishment of a trade office in India, as pledged in Fiji, will assist our endeavor to export kava and other agricultural products to India. In the area of fisheries, Tonga has interest in securing technical assistance from India on aquaculture development and coastal inshore fisheries development and management. In the area of information technology, the Government of Tonga has realized the opportunities offered by embracing information technology to provide a more reliable and affordable IT, linking its people across the kingdom and across the world. Tonga acknowledges the advanced global status that India has reached in this area and appreciates assistance offered so far. And we would also appreciate any further assistance in various fields under this sector. In the area of energy, in Tonga's efforts to mitigate and adapt to climate change, the government has made an ambitious and bold step to reduce dependency on diesel-generated fuel by 50% by year 2020. Tonga will be interested in alternate energy sources in India and exploring ways to access these. In tourism, the tourism sector in Tonga contributes approximately 15% to the total GDP. This sector is one of the potential sectors for economic development in Tonga. Improvements to air transportation, appropriate infrastructure and facilities are of utmost importance towards the development of this sector. Tonga has also therefore formulated the Tonga Tourism Sector Roadmap, which outlines requirements to facilitate a prioritized and coordinated approach to the development of tourism. In addition, Tonga will host the South Pacific Games in year 2019, which will indeed assist the tourism sector. Any technical or financial assistance offered by the Government of India towards this initiative would be most welcome. Investment. Since its accession to the WTO, Tonga has effected wide-ranging reforms to its foreign investment regulations, clarifying the rules and procedures governing investment in Tonga. Presently, Tonga is undertaking a wide-ranging review of its entire foreign investment regime in consultation with the private sector. The government is also currently developing policy proposals to reform the framework for investment incentives and has formulated a private sector development strategy which seeks to create vibrant private sector in partnership with government for inclusive growth, sustainable development. Its purpose is to foster national development by maximizing impact of private sector activities. The last area is micro, small to medium enterprise policy and strategy, or MSME. The Commonwealth Secretariat assisted in the development of the micro, small to medium enterprise policy for Tonga, which was completed and endorsed by the government in year 2013. It guides MSME development in Tonga, recognizing the potential contribution of the sector to the country's overall sustainable economic, social, and cultural development. More than 90% of jobs in Tonga are in the MSME sector, hence the need for wealth creation to be a top priority with specific focus on MSME development and expansion through encouraging greater investment of policy attention, institutional strengthening, technical expertise, and customer care to this sector. At present, the MSME strategy is not fully implemented due to critical resource need, both funding and technical assistance. I wish to conclude by conveying the government and the people of Tonga's good wishes to Your Excellency, Honorable Prime Minister, your government, and the people of India for all your assistance and friendship. We look forward to continuing the ongoing collaborations between our two countries. Last but not the least, I wish to thank you, Your Excellency, Honorable Prime Minister, your government, and the people of India for the efficient organization and hosting of this very important meeting, and the generous hospitality extended to us so far. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Excellency. I now call upon Ambassador Tikua Luta of Kiribati to make her remarks.
Honorable Prime Minister Modi, Pacific leaders and heads of delegations, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed an honor for me to attend the second summit of the Indo-Pacific Islands Cooperation Forum, representing my predecessor, President Anute Tong, who regrettably is unable to accept the kind invitation in person because of the ongoing Parliament session. He has asked me to convey his good wishes and his greetings to you all. Since our arrival, my delegation and I have been accorded great courtesy and the highest of Indian hospitality. And in this regard, I would like to express sincere appreciation and gratitude for this. Over the last 2 days, we have visited beautiful historic places which we have only read about and seen in books and films. The majestic buildings and sites like the Taj Mahal and the Amber Palace here in Jaipur are a reminder of the greatness of the Indian civilization and culture. It was indeed humbling to stand in front of such great works and wonders of history. Mr. Prime Minister, the relations between India and the Pacific Island countries date back many years, but you and your government have taken the relationship to a higher level when you visited Fiji last year and convened the first summit. Only a few months later, you have now arranged for our leaders to convene in this beautiful city of Jaipur for the second summit. We from Kiribati join our neighbors in commending you and your government for the extended strength of your foreign policy to include the Pacific as you look to the east and south for better and mutually beneficial cooperation. We welcome the increase to the annual grant to our individual countries and also the generous offer by your government to help us in areas relating to renewable energy, education, health, and sustainable development, among others. These, of course, will be very vital to our development aspirations. Mr. Prime Minister, my country is faced with many challenges. Our population is just over 100,000. This is very small compared to yours, but for a small Pacific Island nation with small land area and limited resources, it is a big number. Like you, our population is very young, with more than 50% under 30 years. Unemployment is increasing, and with it, poverty and social crime. We read and note with interest the focus of your government with your personal championing on skilling and upskilling of your people, in particular your youth. We would dearly love to learn from you in this area. Your experiences in use of simple technologies in the coir and coconut industries are also of interest to us. Mr. Prime Minister, for a few years now, we have been sending our people for medical treatment here, taking advantage of your expertise and competitive prices. This is very good for us, and we will definitely continue. However, it is unfortunate we lack the doctors and other health personnel skills to be able to support the health problems of our people. Medical training will be an interest of us, will be an area of interest for us. In relation to this, I have also taken note of the advanced pharmaceutical production of India, and I believe my country will benefit from greater interaction in this area, and we will certainly recommend this to my government. Mr. Prime Minister, as you are all very well aware, a very big challenge to the world now is climate change. For us, coming from a nation of low-lying islands, climate change is a survival threat. Our aspirations for development, our hopes and dreams for our children and grandchildren would be zero if there is no concerted effort to reverse the impacts of climate change. My President, and as we have heard this evening, is fellow leaders from around the Pacific sitting around the table today have been at the forefront of international forum to raise awareness of this silent but deadly enemy, and we recognize the support of India on the issue. For us, the challenges are rising in relation to climate change. We are losing territory, severe coastal erosion is happening every day, involuntary displacement of communities, decrease in food and water security, and many other problems. So for us, like I said, it has become a survival issue for our people. These challenges are putting enormous pressures on our domestic institutions, the national budget, the family ties, and the sense of well-being of our people, and we fear for our future. In this regard, my government looks forward to closer collaboration with your government in pushing the climate change agenda at international forums, such as the Paris meeting at the end of this year. We are thus very grateful for India's commitment and initiatives to reduce emission and to pursue clean and renewable energy paths. Your great commitment towards environmental protection and sustainable development in general are very meaningful to us, and we look forward to receiving assistance in efforts to pursue the use of clean energy, specifically solar power and biomass. We understand your competitive edge in this area and note with gratitude the offer of your government and private sector to assist where possible. Mr. Prime Minister, our needs are many, and we believe we can work together with you in many areas. And in this regard, we look forward to continued contact to progress these initiatives and needs. Mr. Prime Minister, I have been also directed to convey the continued support of my government to maintaining a high level of cooperation with the governments at the regional and international levels. Our countries and peoples share many common interests that can be promoted through organizations such as the Commonwealth and the United Nations, of which we are both members. My government stands ready to support the reform of the United Nations Security Council and the increase of permanent members. We note your bid to be a permanent member of the United Nations Security Council. Kiribati identifies with India as a country who understands us and so will be better able to voice the interests of the developing countries at the UN Security Council. Mr. Prime Minister, leaders and colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, in ending, on behalf of my President and the people and the government of Kiribati, I convey our best wishes for the success of this summit. And I extend to you all our traditional Kiribati blessings of the Maori, Te Roi, Te Tapumo. Thank you all.
Excellencies, thank you very much for your thoughts and recommendations on our global challenges and our bilateral cooperation. Your perspectives are very important to us. Let me reassure you that we will remain very sensitive to your concern in international forums. We would also like to shape our bilateral cooperation in accordance with your needs and priorities. Let me share my thoughts with you on few global issues and propose a few initiatives for our cooperation. Climate change is clearly a pressing concern for all. Combating it is India's national priority. We make this choice with the natural instinct of our heritage and culture. But we also do this in our enlightened self-interest and with a commitment to the future of our planet. That is why we have set a target of additional capacity of 175 gigawatt of renewable energy by 2022. National action will succeed only through a strong international partnership as much as we speak to goals and emission reduction. We should focus equally on access to affordable technology and adequate finance that makes transition to clean energy natural and easy. Otherwise, experience shows that targets will remain difficult dreams. We must equally seek a global commitment to support adoption to the growing impact of climate change on our lives and economy. India will work with you and others for a comprehensive, balanced and fair outcome at COP21 in Paris. Your interest will have the strength of our voice. Excellencies, as I mentioned in my opening remarks, reform of the UN Security Council is in global interest and vital for a more inclusive and equitable world. As I said before, we should quickly adopt the draft presented by the President of the General Assembly at the negotiating text and conclude negotiation during the 17th session of the General Assembly. Excellencies, as I said, you are large ocean states. We look forward to working with you to realize the full potential of our oceans in a sustainable manner. We would be pleased to establish an institute for sustainable coastal and ocean research in the region and a network of marine biology research stations in various island nations. We could begin immediately with research collaboration and capacity building with the institutions in India. We also propose to hold an international conference on ocean economy and Pacific Island countries in New Delhi in 2016. We will be delighted to host officials and independent experts of all 14 Pacific Island countries. Indian Navy has provided direct support and capacity building to island states in Indian Ocean, especially for coastal surveillance and hydrographic surveys. This has helped them get a better understanding of their maritime zone and strengthen security of their EEZs. We would be prepared to extend this assistance to our Pacific Island partners. We also look forward to goodwill visits by Indian Navy to Pacific India Islands. The ships could also extend support in areas like healthcare through medical camps on the islands. Not only is our future closely linked to space and oceans, but also there is a close relationship between the two. Space assets and technology can help us in inventory of land and water resources, fish zoning, forest resources management, coastal and ocean studies, weather and climate change, and disaster management support. We can assist in establishing a space technology application center in any one of the Pacific Island countries for the entire region and enhance our support for training in space applications, including through customized courses. Fiji's support was invaluable for our Mars mission. We hope to continue receiving support from Pacific Island for telemetry, tracking, and command for our missions in the future. We are all increasingly vulnerable to natural disaster, but we can reduce their human impact. India will be pleased to create capacity in island states to deal with natural disasters, including through human resources development and application of space technology for early warning system and incident response. Human resource development has been a key area of cooperation. There is no other form of cooperation that is as effective in building a nation's future. For the Indian technical and economic cooperation training program, Fiji will have 110 slots, and the number of slots for the other 13 countries will be doubled from 119 to 238. In addition, we will offer 2 scholarships for college education in India to each of the 13 countries that do not receive them yet, while continuing with the 33 scholarships presently offered to Fiji. We will expand our training courses for Pacific Island diplomats and in addition offer a 2-week business management course at a global renowned Indian Institute of Management in Bangalore. During the last 3 years, India has trained 43 rural women from 8 island countries as solar engineers. We now commit to train 70 women solar engineers and to provide solar electrification to 2,800 houses, 200 houses in each Pacific Island country. This will save kerosene worth about $1 million and provide livelihood to women. I am pleased to announce that we will establish at least one information technology laboratory in each Pacific Island country. This will not only improve local IT infrastructure, it will enable us to fulfill our commitment to provide telemedicine and teleeducation to the people. We are prepared to do more to strengthen our trade in addition to the FIPIC Trade Office in New Delhi. We can support the development of micro, small and medium enterprise and will extend support for purchase of machinery for coconut processing and enhancing rice and sugarcane yields. We will also improve market access for small islands developing states. We will focus on developing capacity for health services in your countries. Supply of generic drugs from India is presently routed through third countries and they are therefore very expensive. We are ready to set up pharmaceutical manufacturing plant and distribution center in the Pacific Island region and are pleased to offer a line of credit for this project. Human bonds are the strongest foundation for enduring relations between nations. Last year, we had announced electronic visa for Pacific Island countries. I am pleased to announce that we have decided to provide gratis visa to the nationals of Pacific Island countries. Prasar Bharati, India's national broadcaster, is happy to give television and radio program on culture, entertainment, news, education, etc. in English and Hindi to your countries. Prasar Bharati also proposes to organize a specialized training program over the next few months for broadcasters from the Pacific Islands countries. We will also support creation of India centers through e-libraries and supply books to libraries at universities in your countries. Excellency, in the short time together, we have made concrete progress. Together, we are highlighting the value of relationship based on goodwill, respect, and concern for each other. This partnership demonstrates that geography is no barrier to productive partnership of convergent interests and shared challenges. This partnership will be of great relevance to all of us in the 21st century. Your support to this partnership means a lot to India. We see this as a partnership of equals, driven by similar aspirations, in which we will all be more successful by being together. It seems from our belief in Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, the world is one, and from the conviction that in sharing what we have, we enrich each other and make this world a better place. It is a great honor to have you with us. I hope you have had an enjoyable visit to India. We hope that this will inspire you to visit us more often. Thank you. May I now request you all to the cultural program and banquet outside. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.
And with the closing remarks by His Excellency Shri Narendra Modi, Prime Minister of India, the second summit of Forum for Indo-Pacific Islands Cooperation concludes. Economic assistance and partnerships with the Pacific Island nations was the key theme of the summit, and the second FIPIC summit has been an important step towards greater engagement with the region. We see the Prime Minister and the leaders winding up the summit there. The summit has paved the way for cooperation in different areas that include agriculture, food processing, fisheries,
Well, that's the Prime Minister walking now for the banquet, and before that a cultural program. The summit, the FIPIC summit, the second FIPIC summit at Jaipur has just concluded, and Prime Minister Modi, in those closing remarks, the vote of thanks, clearly said one thing is that e-visas had been announced earlier for all residents of these Pacific Islands to visit India, and now these visas, these e-visas to all the nationals of these Pacific Islands will be given gratis, which is there won't be any charge for them. So that's the biggest, one of the biggest announcements that the Prime Minister has made, and he's made several of them which encompass a huge area of assistance that can be and that is being given and will be enhanced even further to these nations. These include assistance in areas of health, telemedicine, in areas of technology, in areas of capacity building, in areas of human resource development. A big offer that the Prime Minister has made, of course, is that Indian Navy ships can travel to these islands as well and help in their needs of coastal surveillance and hydrographic surveys as well, and that can assist these islands as well in even mitigating a lot of dangers from the environment. Apart from providing assistance in medicine, the Indian Navy ships can go there and also treat people. There are doctors on board on those Indian ships as well who can help in training doctors there in those nations. So a big takeaway there: gratis visas, Indian Navy ships to those island nations, and a lot of other assistance also being given, centers being set up to enhance trade, to train people, and of course there will be enhanced cooperation in the coming days as well. We're all looking forward to that, and we will keep you updated on the events that will unfold later on as well, as far as this association is concerned of India with the Pacific Islands. This is just the second summit. Of course, there's a lot still to unfold, and a lot of these leaders have also endorsed the kind of programs that Prime Minister Modi is leading, the flagship programs, and they want to mirror those in their countries as well, and they've endorsed India's stand of having a permanent seat in the UN Security Council. We'll keep you updated. Stay tuned for all.